Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkbutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. And this one we are doing a fun fold. This is the Inspire Create challenge that's running at the moment. So those of you who follow that challenge will have already seen my design team project for that to give some inspiration. But I thought I'd do a little video as well to show you how I created it. Okay, so I'm featuring beautiful butterflies. I love this set. This is really nice. Lots of things we can do with it. So we're combining the stamps and the dies today to create the project. There is also a really lovely embossing folder, hybrid embossing folder that goes with it, which we're not going to use today, but I have shown this already in the video, so do have a look back at the archive if you want to see that in place. And the link to the Inspire Create challenge will be in the description. You can pop along to there and see all the other design team makes. There's some really great folds in there if you're looking for something a bit different to send out to someone. Okay, so let's get cracking then. So I've got that stamp set. I'm just going to grab out the dies that I need. So we're going to be using the label here. There's two bodies, well no, there's three actually. There's two the same size and the larger one. We need that, and we will need both of these ones. So we need the detailed bit and the outline. Okay, so we're going to need all of those. Okay, I'll just stick to my magnet over there, ready for when we need them. Okay, so here's the card. It's sort of like a modified gatefold really. So instead of just opening out from the middle, it folds out like this, and the two elements sort of interlock on the front. So adhered to the left, adhered to the right, and then they kind of come together like so. Folds out pretty much flat, but it will also stand up beautifully as well, provided you make sure all the score lines are nice and well, nice and sharp. Okay, all right. So it sort of folds out flat, which will be useful for when we're decorating it. Going to stamp the panel. We've got some designer series paper. This is the country lace paper. Again, I don't use a lot of designer series paper, but I thought it'd be nice on this one. Okay, so it's not terribly complicated because I don't do complicated. Fun folds aren't my thing, so it needed to be nice and simple. This is actually smoky slate, and the accent colour is flirty flamingo with a bit of basic grey, just to add a bit of contrast. Okay, so this is what we're going to be making. So in that country lace pack, there's another sheet like this. So this is the one I'm going to use. This is actually Misty Moonlight. Okay, but I'm going to opt for a Night of Navy card base just to give it a bit more contrast. I'm just going to pop that out of the way over there. So we'll bring in the trimmer and I'll show you how I cut the card base. Okay, so hopefully, let me just wriggle backwards a little bit so you can see the top of the ruler here. We want a full width of the A4 cardstock. Okay, so you can see nothing's been chopped off the ends. This is a full length piece. We just need to cut it down to the right height. So for us in the UK, that's 5 7/8 of an inch. Sorry, I don't know what the metric's going to be. It's going to be something like 15, no, it's 14.8 or 14.9 maybe. Okay, so I'm just going to cut on the short side at that particular mark to make it the right height, and we've got this really nice scrap that we can use for something else. So that's going to go over there. And then we're going to score. So you can get you simply scored out if you want, or you can use the trimmer. So I just, as it's out, I'm going to use the trimmer, and we're going to make a score at 1 5/8. So 1.5 is 4/8, and you just knock it over a couple of markers to there. Okay, and make sure you use the score blade, the light grey blade. So that's 1 5/8, and then 3 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to rotate it 180 degrees and we'll do exactly the same thing. Okay, so 1 5/8, and 3 3/4. Okay, and that's it. That's all we need to do for that at the moment. We'll bring that back in a second. Okay, so obviously we've got our larger center panel. Okay, and we can then, I think I might do it this way actually. We'll fold in this one and we'll get our bone folder. Oops, a daisy, almost knocked over the whole pencil tub there. Right, there we go, that's it. So I'm just going to crease that really well, make sure it's nice and lined up though, so you make sure that it's going to crease nice. Okay, same on this one, line it up. So as you crease, sometimes the paper sort of shifts itself, so you just want to make sure that that's where it needs to be. Then this one's going to fold back on itself like this. Okay, so you might want to open the card out so you're not scoring over the top of your nice bits. So again, I'm just shuffling that a little bit just to make sure it's going to lie flat and give that a really nice sharp crease, and that's going in the opposite direction. And we'll do the same with this one. Okay, sharp crease. Okay, and then you might want to just reinforce those just a tad. Okay, and you know what, sometimes depending on the cut of the cardstock, this one's just come out and it's I do have a little bit of a gap in the middle, but actually that's fine. I don't mind that. It's going to be covered up by all the other stuff anyway, and it kind of wants to naturally pop open. So even with this one sat down, this one ended up being a bit tight, but actually when it's sat flat it kind of pops itself open anyway, so you aren't going to notice necessarily. Okay, so there we go, that's the basis of our card. All right, so we'll just pop that to one side just for a moment, and then we're going to cut our designer series paper. So full width, full height of this is going to make 2 strips of this, because 2 times 5 7/8 of an inch is just short of 12 inches. Okay, so our strips we'll just cut in half, and then we'll have one for each side. I hope that made sense. Okay, so for our 1 5/8 bit, we want to do this at 1.5. And I'm going to keep that the right way up because I want the next piece to match it. Okay, and then this one's going to be let me just check that, because I've checked this a couple of times and this one was a little bit on the, I think I need it at 2. Let me just check that. Yeah, 2. I cut it a bit short the first time round because the maths in my head didn't work. Okay, so 2 inches. So 1.5 and 2 inches. And again, I'm going to keep that in that orientation. Don't need this bit. Great big piece though there that we can use for something else. Okay, so we've got these now and the pattern continues. Okay, so I'm going to twist it round. Okay, and we'll cut this at 5 3/4. I'm going to bring this one up and cut this one at 5 3/4. So these two pieces go together. Okay, so we'll keep those over there. Twizzle this one, and then we'll cut this at 5 3/4. And 5 3/4. Got these cute little bits that we might be able to use for something else, so we'll keep hold of those. And we'll now have two more. The pattern continues across, okay, but obviously we can, no, this way, no, that way, yep. I wanted to check. So the pattern continues, but we can, that still doesn't look right. Pattern continues somewhere, and it's because I cut the wrong end, I think. Anyway, the point was we're going to continue the pattern. It's this way, isn't it? I think I flipped it halfway, and I should have kept it the right way up. Okay. So yeah, there we go. I've made a mistake there, but ideally you'll have your pattern continue across the two panels. It's not going to matter a great deal, okay, but you'll end up with those on either side. Okay, so we'll pop those there, and before we do any sticking, I'm going to stamp the inside of the card. So I'm just going to bring in some scrap paper and some complimentary ink to do that. So I think I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight and the Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy. So the inside we're going to use the other butterfly, the small butterfly, and the little dottage to create that. So we'll do the butterflies in the Misty Moonlight. So this is a very, very wet ink pad. Obviously haven't used this very much. Okay, put that to one side to clean off later. I'll pop this away before it gets anywhere, and then we'll grab our Night of Navy and use these little dots to add some interest along there. Okay, just to sort of spruce that up a little bit. So one of my it's my not a New Year's resolution as such, because I don't really generally do those, but I'm just going to try and make more of an effort to decorate the inside of the card as well when I'm creating with you guys. So I'm just going to give that a little bit to dry so we can put our other panels on. Okay, so I'm just going to use seal for this. So this is from the Country Lace paper pack, which is in the annual catalogue. Okay, and the full suite of products has there's also like a wood grain kind of paper as well, kind of good for our more masculine cards as well. So yeah, so I want to decide which way around I want to put these so that it looks, I think that's the closest match. Oh, isn't that weird? I was fiddling about with that and that's just gone together perfectly like that. Right, it just looked odd. Okay, right, fine. I didn't cut it wrong. There we go. So let's pop that in, and this one. There we go. That's nice and easy. And you just want to make sure that those borders, that you know, the two pieces sort of look level. Otherwise that'll really show. Okay, so there we go. That's our panel there, and then this should fit nicely in the centre. So we'll pop that in. So it's slightly wider than it would be normally, so I'm just eyeballing the bottom and just making sure that the slightly wider border is even. And there we go. Beautiful. Okay, so that's our base done. Easy peasy. Okay, even I can do it. Okay, and I say I don't mind too much about the gap there, it's going to ping anyway. All right, cool. Right, so next thing then is to get our butterfly stamped out. So grab some piece of cardstock there. Oops a daisy. And here's our large detailed stamp for that. So I'm going to bring in my so I used the dark contrast colour for the sample card, which I've buried underneath everything else. Okay, so on this occasion I don't think it matters too much because the colours are quite close together, so I'll just bring in the light of navy and just ink that up gently. It's a really large stamp, so you just want to just gently press that over the ink pad, and it will want to sort of suction onto it, so just be nice and gentle with it. And we'll pop that down over here, and we've got room on this piece of cardstock to stamp the sentiment as well. And I don't mind if that's a little bit on the splotchy side either, because it's mostly going to be covered by something else. And our sentiment, so we'll just go with happy birthday, which fits nicely into that nice long banner that comes in the set. So we can probably, in fact I'll put that there, it's probably more efficient use of the cardstock, which means we'll get a nice strip to use for something else. Lovely. So we're going to use this long banner. Oops. Just get that off. So you reuse this tape over and over and over and over again until it either loses its sticky, gets too sticky and like gummy, or disintegrates entirely. So let's get as much use out of your products as possible. It's just old washi tape, that is. That's from, wow, I think that was from a set called Pop of Pink. And Stampin' Up used to do loads of different washi tape collections. And I believe it was Black Gold and Melon Mambo was the other colour in that particular collection. Very nice. Okay, so this is a really large die, so I'm just going to make sure that that's really secured in, so those two can go through the cut and emboss all at the same time. Okay, so you can see where we're going. We're going to do the those elements, and then I need some kind of contrast colour for the detailed butterfly. Okay, and I had a bit of a think about what colour I was going to use. Okay, and I'm going to go with pumpkin pie. Okay, so I'm going to use this piece that I've got out the my little box of bits that I can die cut for this, and we're going to need a body for the butterfly as well, which I think I'm going to do in the misty moonlight just to bring that through as well. So let me see, let's cut a little bit of this off so that we can run this through at the same time. So using the space available on the larger cut and emboss machine, so those large butterflies won't fit through a mini cut and emboss, unfortunately. So there's our little body that we can stick on over the top, and then this element is going to be, I have lots of little bits and pieces that we need to pop out, so we can get that done. Okay, and just pop that out. We'll get the take your pick tool, okay, and we can just pop that out, or you can use the die brush attachment as well. I find this is probably just as efficient. And if you do it over the bin, you won't have to clear it up afterwards. But it's not difficult to get these out. It's a really nice user-friendly die, even though it's got lots of detail on it. It's not one of those that's going to drive you doolally getting out all the pieces. Okay, so then we want those release holes. We can just peel that out nice and gently. There might be some bits stuck in your die. Just make sure you clean them out before you use it again. It will you won't get a nice sharp cut if you've got stuff stuck in your die. Okay, and then we can just scrape away these and just get those chucked into my little, got a little sort of desktop bin that I collect all these little bits in, and they end up in the recycling eventually. Okay, so that's our contrast colour. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but we'll go with it. I just wanted something different, and I don't use a lot of orange. Okay, so butterfly then can construct. So we're going to layer the detail bit on first, and I'm just adhering it with the body. So you do have the option to sort of curl that up a bit as well, and everything, but obviously we're going to be making, it's going to go in, end up in an envelope, so you know, it's your choice whether you want to do any shaping of the wings beforehand. And then I've put way too much glue on there, so we're going to spread that out as much as we can. And that will fit right over the top of that stamped body that you've already put in place. Okay, and you might want to just leave that under a block just to make sure that that's all nice and dry. I've just shifted that slightly, so we'll just reposition that, pop it at the back there, and I'm just going to pop that block on there just to make sure that that's nice and dry. And then I've got my sentiment. Now I'm thinking I might use the pumpkin pie just to sort of pop that a little bit as well, just to sort of tie it in together a little bit. So on the original I actually stamped with the pink ink just to bring it in, but I say the orange not so great for sentiments, so let's chop off a bit of this. How wide's this? This is about 5/8 of an inch wide. So if we make this a 1/2 inch, it's going to sit behind that banner and just sort of poke out at the ends. It's not going to show at the top and the bottom, and then that seems to be pretty much the right length, I would say, for us to just cut in a banner like those little V's and make that our decorative element. So let's bring in our paper snips. Paper snips are sharp all the way to the tip, so these are going to be perfect for this. So you just want to snip in at the center, and then from the corner go straight in. And if you aim for where you're headed, you will cut it straight. Okay, so just be confident and aim for it. There we go. That's that. And we can just use some seal on the back of this. To secure that onto that layer of orange, and that just gives it a bit of a pop of something, like so. Okay, did I pop this up on dimensionals? I did indeed, just to make sure I got the clearance for the for everything. So I'm just going to pop, I'm actually using 3, and I'm going to take them right to the end of this and have them almost next to each other, so they form this nice little secure anchor point for this. Oops. And then this guy we will put on with some wet glue. Okay, so we will get him in position first, I think. So we want that left part of that wing. It's going to be the anchor point for this. And you can sort of position it so that it kind of, it goes out towards this outer edge. You don't have to keep within the bounds of the actual folded part. Okay, so once you've got that in place, I just want to check, yeah, there's a little bit of glue overhanging there, so I just want to leave that open a little bit. And then this guy is going to go across the bottom. And again, I just want to make sure that I'm not going to seal it shut with those dimensionals, but trying to get it lined up as well. And that's going to end up in the back there, and there's no dimensional showing there. Okay, brilliant. So that's going to have to dry, obviously, but that is our card that sort of slots together like so. All right, that pop of orange just for something different. And then here's the original grey and pink one. So this one's been manipulated lots so that it really does fold in and out really quite nicely. But you'll do the same with this one. Once you've finished messing with it, reinforce all your score lines, and it will sit really, really nicely. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and it helps explain what I did there to make that card. There is a blog post with the scoring guide in there, so do have a look at that as well. All right, that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and it's given you an idea of something else that you can make yourself with this set. Look forward to seeing it. Hope you're staying safe. Do take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.